Hello again, welcome back to Victoria Harbour in Docklands. As you remember from our last episode, and we did a twin screw docking alongside a wharf, and we used a spring line technique which allowed us to bring the boat in to the wharf and alongside without actually hopping off the boat. Now I'm going to show you how we apply that technique to stern-to docking on a yacht. Now with requests for a lot of marinas of stern-to docking, we're going to show you a couple of techniques on how to manipulate your boat stern-to into the breeze, which is the reversal of the theory of stem to the wind, and also a little technique I call point and shoot, and that's using your rudder and knowing where your rudder is at any one time before you put thrust across it. And I'll show you a little demonstration of that right now. Okay, now I'm going to turn the boat around pretty much in its own length. And as you know, single screw boats, which this is, even though it's a stern drive, it still translates as a single screw boat, have transverse thrust. This one I've found out kicks slightly to starboard. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the helm hard over to port. If I just give that a little squirt, and I'm almost out of gear, you can see how pronounced that movement is coming across the back. Now if I do the same again, and in astern, just give it a little, that transverse thrust will also kick us over. As soon as I feel the boat moving in astern, moving backwards, I've got the helm hard over, and I'm just going to give it another squirt forward. You can see that thrust literally booting out behind us there, and that gives that movement real aggression. So you can see how even in a confined space we'd be able to step the boat around in small increments. If I wanted to change that, if I wanted to go forward, give a little squirt, I want to change that golden rule in boating, reverse the last thing you did. Bring the helm hard over to starboard, another boot forward, and you can see how the boat then jumps at the stern to port. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that into practice into this berth here. We're going to go into the berth, and then we're going to reverse stern to into the berth with the wind on our back. With a yacht and with a rudder boat, you don't have to be in gear to make the boat manoeuvre. So I'm doing about 3 knots now, and if I take the boat into neutral, you can see that I've still got a good deal of control, because that very deep rudder beneath my feet has got a great deal of water movement still across it at 3 knots. So I'm going into a berth just here on our starboard side. I'm going to turn off to port now, and the wind's now coming in behind me here. You can see this berth coming into view behind us now. Now I'm just going to stop us here with a little bit of thrust. Now when you're going in astern, the water that's running across your rudder as the boat is moving back then hits the propeller while the boat's still in gear. And what it does is it makes the top third of your rudder less efficient. So as you see, once we get the boat moving back, and now we're doing 2 knots in astern, you see I've got the wheel hard over to the right, but the boat's not coming over aggressively. As soon as I put the boat into neutral, you see that jump across there, and that is because of that effect, that now the full length of that rudder going into the water is become efficient. You can see I've got a spring line set on the side here. I'm just going to inch ourselves back to that cleat. Okay, just touch it a little bit forward. Okay, it's drifting back nicely. There we go, round again like we did on the twin screw boat. At least 4 figure of 8s, let's get that anyway, before we hitch off. Okay, now all I'm going to do is just gently put that in forward gear. Helm is hard over to port.
And you can see the forward motion of the boat. It's moving the stern in as well as moving across the boat. Now, that spring line will take up, and of course the boat's trying to drive itself away down the wharf. The spring line stopped it, so the end result being is the boat will hold itself alongside the wharf. Next thing we need to do is put a forward running springer on the boat to stop the boat from going astern when we take this out of gear. Now please remember, this is now in gear. When you're securing your next lines, make sure the lines don't go in the water, and only allow people who are directly involved in the docking process off the boat to tie up the rest of the lines. Okay, now that we have our lines secured, we can take the boat into neutral, and as you can see, the boat holds its position on the wharf. So I hope that's been of some use to you today, and that's our single operator stern-to technique for a yacht. My name's Ned Files, and we'll see you out there. Bye for now.